Hello, my name's Oz of Expert Sleepers, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the new module I'm announcing at NAMM this year, the FH1 fader host module. This is a USB MIDI host in a Eurorack module. It's this little 8U guy here. This is its USB socket. The idea is you take any USB MIDI device you happen to have lying around, anything class compliant. I've got this one here, I've got a few others which I'll plug in a minute. You stick that in there, and then depending on what MIDI you give it, you get stuff out of the CV outputs here. So super simple usage, just do the faders and you get different voltages out. These are my light up jack sockets, by the way. The red means positive, blue means negative. So if I so that's just directly controlling some CVs plugged into an oscillator, which is kind of nice but basic. These are 14-bit outputs, so they can use high-res MIDI CVs or CCs or pitch bend messages. But beyond just basic control of CVs direct from the faders, there's other things like, for example, LFOs. Each of these things has got a built-in LFO. If I whack that up there, again. So now I've got MIDI CCs connected to LFO rate or LFO depth and things like that. So that's another little idea. Turn that down. Other things though, much beyond that, because there's quite a lot of power in here to run stuff on the incoming CCs. This little mode now is a step sequencer. This row of faders is now controlling a step sequencer. The module's got a clock input, so it can be clocked with the rest of the modular system.
Are they quantized pitches or just raw voltage?
You can do either way. You can do like direct control of the voltage, or you can, using a different CC input, you can control it in semitones. It's not there yet, but I'm going to have different scales as well that you can select, so you can do stuff in time, in tune. So that's that going there. A nicer demo though of the sequencer is if I just switch controllers. Use this guy. This is a Novation launch control. The nice thing that the guys at Novation have done is expose the control over the LEDs to the USB host. So you can, why is that super quiet now? Because I need to change that to that. That's why. So now you can see controlling it, the sequencer's running in the module, but it's controlling the LEDs on the controller. So this is saying that you can see I've got things like resets and skips going on, ties.
So if you had a if I had a launchpad control at home, could I just plug it in and it would run exactly as it's running now?
A launch pad or a launch control?
A launch control. This one.
You would need the setup for the launch control, but I mean that's something I'm going to make available on the website once I've kind of got a nice template set up for all these things. I mean all of these things. Anything with a computer-based editor for the controller, I can do presets and make those available. So that's kind of fun. Other things it does, if you plug in a keyboard. This is a Keith McMillan QNexus. I'm using the USB thing. This has built-in CV, but I'm not using it. I'm just using it as the USB. It's for a demo here. Then now I've got this running in basic MIDI to CV mode. So that's like using these two outputs as CV gate, and you've still got the rest running there. Using this other keyboard controller, which I've got setting a different MIDI channel so the FH1 interprets it differently. This is running 4-voice polyphonic MIDI to CV. You can see the even numbered things here are gate outputs, so I'm just cycling around all 4 voices. But if I play a chord on the controller, you see I get multiple gates. Obviously I've not got a polyphonic patch set up, so we can't hear a chord, but you have to imagine that in your head for 4-voice polyphonic. So that's all lovely. So another thing we can do, rather than plugging in a USB device into the fader host, is using something like this, which is an iConnectivity Mini 2 Plus.
Makes sense.
This lets you connect up USB in ways that wouldn't normally be possible. So in this particular case, I've got an iPad connected, and this is running Touch OSC, and this is using core MIDI now to send MIDI straight through to the FH1. So you can see these 8 faders are just mapped directly to the...
just like the Fader Fox.
Just like the Fader Fox was earlier, but now from the iPad. But of course, this being a nice editable surface now, you've got a lot more control over stuff. So like this is all the LFO parameters exposed now. And again, it works with the sequencer if I run that. And using MIDI feedback from, bear in mind that the sequencer is still running on the FH1 here, but using feedback to the iPad, it can tell the iPad where in the sequence it is. There we go. So I can update that. Now on the other, because it's running core MIDI, you can use anything on the iPad that outputs core MIDI. So this is Lima, for example. Now this is a different case. So now we've got the sequencer running on the iPad itself, and it's just sending MIDI out. In the FH1, it's just running as a MIDI to CV converter from Lima. So you imagine you could go mad with that and create something to do MIDI to CV, send the OSC messages to drive these other outputs. You could use the FH1's own LFOs rather than stuff controlled by the iPad. You just mix it up.
So it's all based on what the FH1 is receiving, essentially.
Yes, that's right. So
there's not really much that you need to change on the actual FH1 as long as you've got the right MIDI messages
well, there's
coming
nothing you can change on the FH1 because it's all set up. There's a big, if you think of how many MIDI channels you've got and how many MIDI controllers and pitch bends, there's a huge space of control information that you can send down there. And as long as you can edit your controller, be it the Fader Fox or any of these other guys, the launch control, where you can actually set up what CCs are sent, you can access all that different functionality that the FH1 has built into it. Beyond that though, because it's got a USB socket, my plan is to open this up a little bit and have software updates, so you'll be able to put the software update on a USB thumb drive, pop it in there and flash it.
And get extra functionality out of it.
Yeah, because I plan to keep on working this for some time rather than just drop it at launch. Realistically, I won't have it all finished like that. So, yeah, I'll keep adding stuff as things occur to me and as people want stuff, I guess.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.